My name is Jan Crary. I'm a certified professional dog trainer, knowledge accessed. I've been doing positive reinforcement training for the past 13 years and have been certified for the past 6 years. The reason for this video is to complement the written material that was sent out to the class, as well as using it for people that are asking me to come to their home to do an in-home session. I think it's very important for us to know how dogs learn. It's really the same way we learn: classical conditioning and operant conditioning. Classical conditioning, the dog does not need to be doing any type of behavior to learn. It is done by the response, the emotional response that the dog has to a stimulus. What we're going to be doing in this course is using a clicker to tell the dog in the moment, that is a behavior, I want to repeat it. When the dog might first sniff this clicker, they wouldn't have a response to it. But once the sound of the click is paired with a treat, they're going to go, oh, I like that, so I'm going to repeat that behavior that was just reinforced. So what we're going to do once we get into training the dog that this is a behavior I want repeated is we're going to make the sound of the click, and then that's going to be the bridge to getting that reinforcement. What we're going to be using as reinforcement to the dog is high-value treats. We have chicken and cheese and liver, and I think there's some diced ham in this treat pouch. You can cut up whatever you have left over from your meal. If you happen to have some steak, go ahead, cut it out and put it into your dog treat pouch, because the only time they're going to get this high value reinforcement or treats is when they have done a behavior we want repeated. So classical conditioning is the sound of the click is going to equal reinforcement coming, and their response is going to be doing the behavior again to continue that reinforcement coming. And it's also respondent. It's more of an emotional response because they're going to be showing happiness to continue to be working for that treat. So now let's go on to our operant conditioning. And if you want to do some more research on that, B.F. Skinner would be the source to be looking at. You can just Google operant conditioning and classical conditioning and you're going to find out more if you wish. So with operant conditioning, there are 4 quadrants that we're going to be looking at. The ones we're going to be using in my class are going to be positive reinforcement. Positive is adding something. Reinforcement is the likelihood of the behavior being repeated once the treat is given for that behavior. So it's consequence. The dog does this, the consequence is going to be either reinforcing or it's going to want to decrease a behavior. The quadrant that we will be using in our class to decrease a behavior will be negative punishment. Negative, taking away something to decrease a behavior. So let's say our dog jumps up on us and we would like them to decrease that behavior or punish, as the quadrant says. We're going to be taking away our attention to decrease the behavior of paws on us. When the paws hit the ground, then we can mark that with the sound of a click, reinforce with a treat. So those are the 2 quadrants that we will be using in our class. And punishment is not doing something physical to harm a dog with fear, pain, or intimidation. If we are using positive punishment, then we might be adding something that the dog does not like. Even a simple no can be positive punishment to the dog, because we're usually saying no to make a dog stop a behavior. And if it's delivered harsh enough, that could frighten the dog. So in that moment, the dog may stop that behavior, but it's still not teaching the dog what they can be doing. That's what I want to focus on in the class or in my in-home session, is teaching the dog what they can be doing instead of a behavior we don't like or don't want repeated. And this is all from the dog's point of view, not ours. The other quadrant that we won't be using is negative reinforcement. An example of that would be, I ask the dog to do a sit, and then I push down in the hips. And then I remove my hand, and the dog would more than likely repeat that behavior because they don't want their hips pushed down. So from the dog's point of view, that's negative reinforcement. We also will not be using negative reinforcement as well as positive punishment in our classes and in the in-home sessions. So are you ready? Are you ready to click some behaviors you want repeated? Let's proceed.